Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I will be reacting to the report that the Washington football team could make a big move at the left tackle position this offseason in the draft or in free agency. We'll go through some of the players that are linked to Washington either in free agency or in the draft. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. The report also talked about the possibility of Trent Williams coming back to the Washington football team, so we'll talk about that in a little bit and my take on that. So Ben Stanek wrote an article and he said nobody should be blindsided if the Washington football team aggressively addresses its left tackle position this offseason. He talked about, some in-house options for the Washington football team at the left tackle position. He was talking about Saahdiq Charles, who obviously we drafted in the 4th round, really talented, but was injured for almost all the year, played in one game. He started at left guard and only played 2 snaps. He has a lot of potential, but the health is definitely a big factor. Ron Rivera was talking about him earlier and says, we're just trying to get him reps and trying to see where he fits. Rivera said during the season in anticipation of using the college tackle at guard. He's a young football player. He's a good football player. He's a physical guy, and we got to find out where he can play and where he fits best for us. So Saahdiq Charles is in the equation to be the left tackle or the left guard because he can play both. And, at one point in the season, they started him at left guard before he got hurt in that Giants game. So they obviously are fine with him playing either position. It's just really, where do they think he's best at? Do they like him at left tackle or left guard better? And do they like some options better in free agency? Another option at left tackle is Cornelius Lucas. He turns 30 in July. We still have him under contract. According to PFF, he was ranked around 23rd amongst tackles. He's a solid tackle, but like Ben Stanek said in this article, he offers limited upside. So those were kind of the in-house options. Obviously, you have Drawn Christian, but he, of course, by now is seen as a backup at best. Now let's talk about Trent Williams. So this is really interesting. This kind of came out of nowhere with Trent Williams possibly coming back to the Washington football team. And, obviously wasn't a great ending in Washington here, with the Bruce Allen stuff. And then finally with Rivera trading him to the 49ers. But one thing to keep in mind is before, Trent Williams obviously played for the 49ers this past year. And who is the front office executive that helped make that trade was Martin Mayhew. And this is what the article says. One source emphasized that before Mayhew joined Washington in January, he was part of the San Francisco front office that traded a 5th round pick in 2020 and a 3rd round pick for Trent Williams. So there could be some interest there. Obviously, we could use a better left tackle, and if Trent Williams is willing to come here, maybe Washington will end up giving him a big deal, but it's going to be hard to re-sign Trent Williams and to sign Trent Williams and re-sign Brandon Sheriff. Trent Williams played really well for the 49ers this year, played in 14 games before then, obviously one of the best left tackles in all of football, but he's probably going to re-sign with the 49ers. That's what is expected, but don't be surprised that we show some interest if he does become available. That is something to keep in mind. Another guy for free agency, Carolina, Taylor Moton, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He's the right tackle for the Panthers. Not sure if he can play left tackle and right tackle, but one possibility would be having him play right tackle and having Morgan Moses play left tackle. Moses played pretty well at left tackle this year, and Taylor Moton has played in all 16 games every single year of his career. That is very, very impressive. You want someone that can stay healthy, and he has done just that. So that's a guy, obviously, former Carolina Panther, someone to keep your eye out. They might show some interest in Taylor Moton, and that would be a solid option. He's going to get a lot of money though, so going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And some other guys to keep your eye out on, Russell Okung, who's played for the Panthers this year but never played for the Panthers under Ron Rivera. I would probably stay away a little bit from Russell Okung. He has some, injury history. He has an injury history, 10 games in 2012, 8 in 2013, 6 in 2019, and 7 in 2020. So I would probably stay away from him. I rather have, and he's a little bit older too. I rather have a combination of Lucas and Sadiq Charles, whether you have Sadiq Charles at left tackle or Cornelius Lucas at left tackle. I'd rather have that than bring someone in like Russell Okung. I don't think there's huge upside there. He's getting up there in age, doesn't really stay healthy. I don't really like that option a lot. Another guy he talked about, Alejandro Villanueva. I much rather have Alejandro Villanueva than Russell Okung, but still I'm not in love with this guy for a left tackle spot. But the good thing about him, another player that from 2015 to 2020 has played in all 16 games every year. He's a solid offensive lineman, been on the Steelers for his whole career, and, had some really, really good years. He's a little older. He's about 32, but still is a solid left tackle that definitely is an upgrade over Cornelius Lucas. The question is, how much of an upgrade is he truly? So that is another guy to keep your eye out on. But Taylor Moton for the Panthers, I think they would probably want to bring him in. Again, we'll see if he could play left tackle or not, but also the Panthers are likely going to want to re-sign him, and they could even franchise tag him, so it's going to be hard for him to be made available. We have a lot of money in free agency, though, that we can spend on. There's some other guys, Trent Williams, who plays for Buffalo, who did play for the Panthers before, so keep your eye out. Again, with any position, guys that were former Panthers, Washington loves to bring in those guys. Someone like Curtis Samuel for the wide receiver position, maybe Trey Boston, who just got released today. But those guys I talked about, Russell Okung, Taylor Moton, Trent Williams, Alejandro Villanueva, Trent Williams, those are guys that Washington could be, interested in this offseason. And, Trent Williams would be a significant upgrade, still one of the best tackles in the NFL. Problem with him is the money, and does he really want to come here? So, again, we'll see about that. And there's a lot of options in the draft this year. It's a good tackle draft, a lot of depth at the position. One guy I really like is Christian Darrisaw, who is from Virginia Tech. Might fall to us, and I would love that right there. There's some other guys as well, Mayhew and Marty Herney. Marty Herney used 21.6% of his day 1 or day 2 picks on an offensive lineman. Washington, in the last few years, their only offensive lineman in the last couple years, in the first couple rounds, has been Jerron Christian in the 3rd round. So they haven't been drafting a lot of guys in the early rounds at the offensive line position. Last time it was in the 1st round was 2015 with Brandon Sheriff. Ever since then, it's just been on the D-line. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Washington could draft a guy in the 1st round. Vera Tucker, one of the offensive line prospects from USC, another guy to keep your eye out on. And then these guys right here, some day 2 options. You guys can look at that right there. So let me know, out of all of these options, I know it was a lot of different guys. Russell Okung, Taylor Moton, I know I'm probably mispronouncing that, Trent Williams, Alejandro Villanueva, Trent Williams, some of the draft options, or stick with Cornelius Lucas or Sadiq Charles, depending on what they want Sadiq Charles to play, if they want him to play left tackle or if they want him to play left guard. They are high on him, but the thing is he going to stay healthy? This is a quote from one of the assistant offensive line coach. The sky's the limit. He put in the work. Now he's just got to stay healthy and get on the field. I love his attitude and what he brings to the table because he's a very versatile player. So it's going to be interesting right there. So let me know what you guys think, like I said, about these different options. Which one would you choose? So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. And peace.